Okay guys, what's up? I'm Devin, and today we're going to be making a biohazard looking cube in Blender and then importing it all the way into Unreal Engine. So hopefully this goes pretty well, and let's get started. So open up new scene in Blender, and I'm using 2.7 right now, and pretty much any version will work just fine for this. So what you're going to want to do is delete that default cube, and we're going to start constructing our barrel geometry. So we're going to add a mesh cylinder, and you can either do that by pressing Shift A or going to create and then cylinder. The vertices, we're going to change that down to 16 from 32, and then we're going to change the cap fill type from N-gon to triangle fan, and that's just to play a little nicer with Unreal Engine. Cool. So now if you press tab, you should have something like this in the edit mode. So we're going to go into edit mode, and we're going to cut this thing in half vertically so we can decrease the amount of work we have to do. So hit Control R to bring up a loop cut, and then click to place it in the center, and then press escape when you've got it where you want it. Then you're going to press Z to toggle wireframe mode, press numpad 1 to go into front view, and delete the top vertices there. We're also, yeah, that'll be fine for now. Okay, then go to the wrench over here. These are your modifier stack, and we're going to add a mirror modifier. Cool, and we're going to set it to mirror on the Z, not the X, and turn on clipping. Cool. So now we have this, and what we do to the bottom changes the top. Very nice. So now we're going to add another loop cut to this. And this one we're going to drag down and then left click to place that. Cool. And then what we're going to do is hold down Shift and Alt and select that bottom ring of vertices. Alt, by the way, selects a ring of vertices. If I just do that there, selects one ring, so you can, yeah, do that. Then we're going to go into front view and press E to extrude them, and then press Escape. Now we're going to scale these, and we're going to not scale them along the Z, so only the X and Y axes. Z is the blue, up and down vertical. So we're going to hit Shift Z. That constrains it to only the X and Y axes. And we're just going to move this out a bit, just to like there. Cool. And then grab that top ring that you just extruded out, this right here, and just move that down a bit on the Z-axis. I think that'll look good. And this barrel is a little short, so what we're going to do is we're going to come into front view mode again, press Z so we can see behind it, press B to box select the bottom vertices there, and grab them on the Z-axis, and I'm just holding Control so I snap nice and neat. That'll come in handy later, until it looks like that. That's about good. That might be... No, that's good. And then Alt select this middle row here, and we're just gonna scale that up a bit, so it's got a little bit of a curve to it. Cool. And now this doesn't look very nice, as far as like it's all rectangular and square. So we're gonna come down to Tools and turn on Smooth Shading. And that kind of messed up the corners up here, so we're just going to really quick add a modifier, and we're going to do an edge split modifier. Hold on, there we go. Cool. And we're going to change that split angle to 50 degrees. It shouldn't really change much, but I think it just, yeah, adds a little bit. Cool. And then I also want to make this bigger here on the bottom. So grab that bottom ring, and then in front mode, move that down. There's another one, isn't there? Okay, there are two. Yeah, grab both of those and the center here. Okay, we're just going to box select those. And grab those on the Z-axis and just move them down one. There we go. That looks nice. Okay, so now we can move on to unwrapping this and adding some materials to it. First, we want this origin point to be at the bottom of the barrel. So with the barrel selected, go into edit mode, select everything. First, we're going to apply the mirror modifier. We should do that in object mode. So get out of object mode, click apply. That'll apply that, and we can also at this time apply the edge split. So with tab, grab it by using the G key, and it's like Z to lock on the Z axis, and hold control and just get it kind of right resting on that red line there. Cool. So now it's sitting on the floor, just like we want it. So now we gotta set this thing up for some unwrapping. So unwrapping basically is a method of applying a 2D image to a 3D object. So what we're going to do is we're going to select some vertices to mark these seams. So we're just going to, well, that's weird. Let's remove some doubles. Yeah, remove 64. Good. So selecting that ring, then we're also going to select the same ring on the bottom. And we're going to pick a side, so I don't know, let's do this side right here. And select these vertices going up, just holding the shift key. And then press space, and we're going to mark those as a seam. So type in mark, the first one there, mark seam, and that'll allow us to easily UV unwrap this, which is what we're going to do now. So press U and click unwrap. And if we did everything correctly, we should end up with a nice looking UV unwrap. Cool. So, how do let's just, okay, I unwrapped it again. But there we go. That's looking very nice. Exactly what we want to see. Then we're going to come down here and select these I don't know, layers, and we're going to scale them on the y-axis to 0. That'll just flatten them out like that. We're going to do that to all of these. Just holding Alt to select all of them at once. Cool. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's everything. So now we're going to export this. So we're going to go UVs, and we're going to export UV layout right there at the top. And I'm going to call this barreluv.png, barrel UV. Okay, and then I'm going to place this in a folder. You should put it where you keep your assets. I'm just going to put it in the club. You see I've already got another copy of this here. And we're going to do barrel tutorial. Cool. And we're going to save it right there. Nice. Now we need to jump over to Photoshop and create the 2D image that we're going to apply. So open up Photoshop and open up that PNG that we just saved in the barrel tutorial. Cool. It looks something like this. Kind of boring, but you can see what it kind of looks like. We've got each of these rectangles corresponds to a face on the object, and we're just going to paint right over this to get it looking the way we want it to. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring up this rectangle tool and just kind of put a rectangle over the whole thing on the top and then that first set of faces. And then we're going to change this fill color to, I don't know, a dark gray. That looks okay. And this is going to be, whoops, the top of the barrel and the bottom. But we also want this bottom row right here to match the top row. So we're going to make another one using your rectangle tool again, just straight across right here. And there you go. So now that's all done. Now we want to create sort of like a grungy looking green, nice texture right here. So we're gonna draw a rectangle from the top left here down to the bottom right, and leave a set of faces in between the caps, because we're going to be using multiple materials and we want this to be nice and shiny like the chrome band around the barrel. Okay, so now we have this. We're going to change this fill color to like a green, so I'm going to just set it to this green color. I think that looks alright. And then we're going to get a grungy material. So the grungy material I have, you're going to go to cgtextures.com, and I love this website. It's got a whole bunch of free textures for using stuff like this. So the CG Textures. CGTextures.com is a great resource. So we're going to go and get a grungy looking texture from here. So we're going to go to grunge, and then we want grunge maps. And the one we're looking for, yeah, this one will work just fine. So let's get image 1, sure. And we're just going to get large. I've got an account here that gets you like 15 megs a day or something like that, which is more than enough. So I'm just going to put this in club, barrel tutorial. Cool. So we have the grunge map. So we're going to open that up in Photoshop. So I'm just going to bring this over here, right click, open with Photoshop. There we go. There's our grunge stuff. So I'm just going to copy, whoops, the selection tool, copy everything and paste it onto our other image here. Then with this selected, we're just going to scale it down and put it inside of that green rectangle. Just make it fit kind of exactly. It doesn't matter for this image if we stretch it, but it will for others, so just be careful with that. And then we're just going to set the blend mode to multiply, wherever that is, right there. Cool. And then that like makes it look like this green grungy looking texture thing. And then I wanted to put a little biohazard logo, so just click the check mark to apply that. And the biohazard logo I found on this website right here, clker.com, and then they have this biohazard clip art, and all this is like free public domain. So we're just gonna save that image as, and then we're gonna call this biohazard. Cool. And we're gonna open that up in Photoshop. Cool. And now it's black on white, so that'll be fine. And we're just gonna copy that and paste it over onto this image. And we're just gonna put it right there. Cool. And then we're also gonna set this to multiply. Yes, multiply. Cool. And yeah, so we have a little black biohazard logo, but that's a little like dark on dark. So we're gonna make another one that's very similar. So with this layer selected, we're just gonna go into the magic wand tool and select all of those black things. And you can hold the Alt key to zoom in, and just hold Shift. There we go. Select them all. Then we're going to go up to the select, and we're going to modify it and contract it by 3 pixels. And that'll kind of give us this like indented thing. So then just switch to a paintbrush with a big radius here. And paint the center of that white. Ooh. Right, because we didn't. Okay, so we're going to make a new layer and then paint it white. There we go. Because the reason I was doing that is because it was multiplying it instead of just adding it over normally. So there you go. And then hit Control D to deselect all of that, and you can hold Alt and scroll out. So you've got this nice looking biohazard logo on this grunge map. And you could spend a little more time with this, but I think that's all I want to do right now. So save it as a PNG, and we're just going to call it barrel UV image. .png. Alright, and now we're just going to set it up in Blender. And we don't have to do this, but I think it's a good practice to get into. So we're going to open up that image right here, and then we're going to go to Barrel Tutorial. Hold on a second. The phone calls today. Wow. Okay, so where was I? Let's minimize that and make sure that we're... Okay, cool. So, we were opening the image in the UV editor, so I'm going to go back to that UV editor, and I accidentally messed something up here, but it's okay. Okay, go into the barrel tutorial, opening up barrel UV image.png, open that up, and it should fit in quite nicely here. So then we're going to go to the object selected and go to material, and we're going to add 2 new materials to it. And on the first one, we're gonna go to textures and add a new image texture. So set this to image or movie, and then we're just gonna use this and choose barrel image UV. And then down here under mapping coordinates, this is important. Change it from generated to UV. Cool. And now what that should do if we change this to texture, you can see that it looks kind of good. This is our seam right here. Looks like it. So that's not a very bad seam at all. I'm actually kind of surprised that it looks that good. Cool. Then we can like move this light around and we can see more of it. So there's the Biohazard logo right there. Looks kind of nice. I know it's hard to see, but yeah, there we go. And now you see this it's got these lines down on the base here. Don't worry about that. We're just gonna go into the second material slot that we made, and we're gonna click tab to go into edit mode over here, and then I'll select these and these and these and these, and then we're just gonna click assign so that we have those materials selected. Tab out, and still shows it, but that's okay because we're on texture. If we go to rendered, it's all nice and taken care of. Cool. So that is how to set it up in Blender. Now let's get it imported to Unreal. So we're going to go File, Export, and we're going to export it as an Autodesk FBX. And this is a little outdated in Blender. You can probably download a better FBX exporter, but for the purposes of this, it'll work just fine. So I'm just calling it barrel tutorial.fbx. Cool. And now we open up Unreal Engine. Just gonna launch this real quick and maybe select a first person. Let's go new project and then do a blueprint first person should be good. Just wait for this to finish up. Okay, cool. So we loaded up this this project here. I'm gonna just switch it to unlit mode so my computer handles this a little faster. And then under let's go to meshes. We have this template cube. We're just gonna import the FBX that we exported. So it's a barrel tutorial.fbx. Cool. And then just click import all, and a little warning message will come up saying that it's outdated. But that's okay. So it's very small. If we were to just drag and drop this in here, you would hardly be able to see it. So we're going to scale this by a factor of 50. That should be about good. Maybe a little too big, but no, not 1550. Alright, there we go. And that looks better. And as you can see, it did not transfer over our materials. So we're going to need to create our materials from scratch. So first we're going to go to textures, and we're actually going to import in that UV image that we created earlier, just so we can use that in a texture. So, or in a material. So now we're going to make, not import, we're going to make a new material. So go to new material, and we're going to call this barrel. Cool. And double click that material to enter the editor for it. And what we're going to do is right click, and go down to texture, and we want actually no, there's an easier way to do this. Just go to the textures over here and drag and drop this barrel UV image. Simple as that. And then connect this white, which contains the red, green, and blue value, and put it into base color. Then we're also going to need to add a constant, so just right click and type out constant. Constant. There's also a hotkey for that if you want to look it up. I don't remember it. And then we're going to place that into metallic, and we're going to make this value 1 because we want this barrel to look kind of metallic. And that should be about it for this material. Just kind of a simple setup, but it works. So we're going to save it and then click apply. And fantastic. Now we can click the X here and go to materials and drag and drop that barrel onto our barrel. And as you can see, it already looks pretty good. It's got some white lines here because we have it applied the same material to the both slots. So we're going to scroll down these materials and find a chrome looking one. Brush nickel, steel. Okay, we'll just go with burnished steel. And we're going to put that on element 1. And notice that this is the same material slot that we created in Blender. The amount of material slots you make in Blender are the ones that come out here. And you can also scale it up in Blender before you import it. One Unreal unit is about 1 centimeter, so it's kind of, yeah, short. But all right, so now we can just jump into play, and you can see it looks really nice. So there you go. We're done. We imported it in. It's got that nice Biohazard logo on it. It's got this seam in the back that actually turned out looking pretty good. Yeah, there you go, guys. Leave a comment if you have any questions on stuff, and I will do my best to answer them. This is the Game Development Club of Embry-Riddle, and I'm Devin Platty. And leave a comment saying what you'd like to see done next in Unreal Engine. Alright, thanks guys, and see ya.